At first, Daniel believed he had found the kind of love people dream about. Selina was different from anyone he had ever met. She was bold, outspoken, full of energy, and everywhere she went, people seemed to notice her. She noticed Daniel too, and for him, that alone felt like a miracle. Out of all the people she could have chosen, she chose him. The early days were intoxicating. She would call him late at night just to say she missed him. She sent long texts, telling him no one had ever made her feel so alive. She laughed at his jokes, touched his hand often, and looked into his eyes like he was her world. Daniel thought to himself, this is love. This is what it feels like to be wanted. But slowly the warmth began to cool. The change came so gradually that Daniel almost didn't notice it at first. One evening he came home excited. He had been given a promotion at work, something he had worked hard for, something he had prayed for. He told Selina with a wide smile, expecting her to share in his joy. Instead, she shrugged and said, "That's nice, but honestly, my work is much more demanding. I don't even know how you handle something so small." Her words cut deep, but Daniel brushed it aside. He told himself, maybe she didn't mean it like that. Maybe she's just tired. But it kept happening. Every victory he shared, she minimized. Every dream he mentioned, she dismissed. When he wanted to spend time with his friends, she questioned him. "Why do you need them when you have me? Don't they get tired of you?" At first, she said it with a laugh, but the look in her eyes told Daniel she was serious. So he stopped meeting his friends as often. Then he stopped calling his family as much. He told himself it was just easier this way. Easier than hearing her accuse him of choosing others over her. Without realizing it, his world was shrinking, and Selina was at the center of it all. Daniel began to notice another pattern too. Whenever things went her way, she was sweet, affectionate, loving. But whenever he disagreed, or even questioned something, she became cold, distant, punishing him with silence. He found himself apologizing just to bring peace back into the room, apologizing for things he didn't do, apologizing for simply being himself. The more he tried to please her, the more impossible it became. One night, after holding his frustration inside for too long, Daniel finally spoke. He said quietly, "Selina, sometimes I feel like I'm losing myself." She looked at him, and instead of comfort, she gave him cruelty. "Losing yourself? Don't be dramatic. You'd be nothing without me." Her words echoed in his chest like thunder. For the first time, Daniel didn't argue. He didn't explain. He didn't even defend himself. He just sat there staring at her, while inside him, something heavy began to shift. That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. He lay awake, staring at the ceiling, remembering who he used to be. The man who laughed freely, the man who dreamed boldly, the man who felt alive. And he realized that somewhere along the way, he had allowed Selina's shadow to cover all of that. He thought about his mother's words, words she had told him long ago. Love should make you grow, not shrink. And for the first time in years, Daniel admitted the truth to himself. This wasn't love. This was control. This was possession. This was a cage. The next morning, his decision was clear. His hands trembled as he packed his bags, but his heart felt lighter than it had in years. When Selina saw the suitcase, she laughed. "Really? You're leaving? You can't live without me. You'll come crawling back." They always do. But Daniel looked at her, and for the first time, his gaze didn't break. His voice was calm, steady, and certain. "No," he said, "I won't." He walked out that door, and this time, he didn't look back. The days that followed were not easy. At first, the silence was overwhelming. For so long, Selina's voice had filled every corner of his life, and now there was nothing but stillness. He doubted himself at times. He replayed her words in his head. He wondered if she had been right, if he really would be nothing without her. But slowly the healing began. He met with old friends again, and they welcomed him with open arms. They laughed together, and Daniel realized how much he had missed the sound of his own laughter. He visited his family, and his mother held him longer than usual, as if she knew the battles he had fought in silence. He started dreaming again, making plans for his future. Small steps at first, but they grew with time. And each step reminded him that he was still capable, still worthy, still alive. Weeks turned into months, and one evening, Daniel stood on his balcony, watching the sun melt into the horizon. A soft breeze touched his face, and for the first time in years, he felt completely free. He whispered to himself, "I thought I had lost everything when I walked away. But really, I found myself again." And in that moment, Daniel understood the greatest truth of all. Sometimes the bravest act of love is not holding on, but letting go. Sometimes the most powerful kind of love is the one you give back to yourself.